Hey guys, it's Madison, and today I thought I would spend the day studying a bit of Chinese, and I thought might as well make a study vlog out of it, so here I am. Yeah, ever since March started, because I'm back to school and back to my full-time job of being a professor, I have significantly less time to spend on language learning, but I have been surprisingly consistently studying Chinese recently. I think almost every single day this month I've studied some some Mandarin Chinese, which is incredibly consistent for me. It's not typically a ton of Chinese, but I've been doing probably around 15 minutes to half an hour every single day of active studying. So for me, that's incredibly good to be doing that every single day almost for like 15 days now. So yeah, I've been really happy with my consistency, and I've also just, as you can tell, been in the mood to study Chinese specifically lately versus my other languages. I have done little bits and pieces of Korean or Japanese here or there, but especially the past week, I've basically only done Mandarin Chinese, and so I figured might as well take that motivation and expand it today into being a more productive studying filled day. And yeah, if you've seen any of my study vlogs recently, you probably noticed that I only basically do one thing for Mandarin Chinese, like one resource of studying, and that is Do Chinese, the app. It is a great app. I really enjoy it. I use the free version of it, so I am a bit limited in the amount of content I can study, which is why I basically only study usually one lesson per day, which is why it's only around 15 minutes to half an hour. Like I said, I really enjoy the app. I am going to be doing that a little bit later today. I typically do it in the evenings. Today, what I'm going to do is I want to kind of expand and see if there's other resources that might also work for me, because like I said, since I use the free version to Do Chinese, I am very limited in the amount of content I have access to every single week. So the app I'm going to be trying out today is Busuu. I used Busuu very, very briefly a couple of years ago for Japanese. I think it was really early on when they were just beginning to offer Japanese, so the course wasn't really great then, and so I didn't really use it much, and I haven't used Busuu since, and I've never used it for Chinese, and so I am going to give it a shot today. But yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling now and actually get to it. Alright, so ended up playing around with Busuu for almost an hour, most of that being kind of wasting my time trying to go through checkpoints in A1 before realizing I could go straight to the intermediate level. I thought you couldn't skip at all without passing checkpoints, but turns out you can't. And so I jumped to B1, did a couple lessons there. Really just did not find myself enjoying it. The vocabulary seemed weirdly high level and like very specific. For example, like impressionist and Renaissance, stuff like that, that I don't think I've ever encountered in the things I watch or in my lifestyle. So, and then in contrast with the very high level seeming vocabulary and very specific vocabulary, a lot of the other parts of the lessons seemed very much not intermediate level. I think it seems pretty clear that Busuu is still working on their Chinese course, because the A1 level is like very fleshed out and has like, it's broken up into multiple chapters, whereas all of the intermediate one is just called one chapter, even though it's a bunch of lessons. They don't seem connected. And also like the voice reading some of the words, the female voice specifically, was very, very like stunted. Like there'd be like pauses in between each character, which is not very natural. And it's more like a beginner kind of style of reading words, not intermediate. So it's weird to read advanced words in such a stunted way. And then also in the dialogue, like one voice would be like relatively fluid, and then the female would respond and just be very disjointed, which was just painful to listen to, honestly, and not natural sounding at all.
那里的人是狗仔队吗？
狗仔队吗？
对，看起来是。他们可能在等什么明星。
And then also the use of pinyin was very, I think, overdone. Like in the exercise where you have to fill in the dialogue, it's almost like they want you to read the pinyin versus the characters. Like the pinyin is a little bit bigger than the characters, And I just don't like that very much. Like, it makes it hard to focus on just learning the Chinese because your eyes keep being drawn to the pinyin, which is not a very effective way to learn Chinese. And also, I don't like how in lessons on Busuu, and I think this is for any language, in a lot of lessons they like force you to do output before you can like finish the lesson. Like, they force you to either answer a question by speaking or by writing, and then you have to post it to the community for someone to correct. I don't want to write about this random topic, and I don't want to post it to the community. I don't know. I don't like being forced, like being told I have to write about this thing for this long and then post it. It's just, I don't know, personal preference, but I don't like it. So for all of the above reasons, I don't think I'm going to be continuing with Busuu, at least in its current state. Maybe I'll come back in a year or two. It'll be more fleshed out. It'll get rid of some of those problems, and maybe I'll like it more then. But as of right now, Busuu is not for me. So I kind of feel like I just wasted an hour of my life. But yeah, I took a quick break after doing all of that to refresh my brain after being annoyed at Busuu. And I did a little bit of research for other kind of intermediate level resources in Mandarin. And I found a couple that look interesting. And so I'm gonna try one of them now. It's called WordSwing. It looks like if you pay for a subscription, you get access to everything, but it seems like there's a few things that are available for free, so I'm gonna give it a shot. Apparently it's described as like an interactive reading experience, so like you're reading, but you're also like kind of like a choose your own adventure or interacting with the text in some way, which sounds interesting. I have never done that in a foreign language before, so I'm excited to give it a shot and see if it's good. It also says it's aimed more towards intermediate and upper intermediate learners, which is where I'm at. So hopefully it'll be decently high level without being too high level for me. But I'm gonna give it a shot. The entirely free one is called Escape. Yeah, let's see how WordSwing is and how much I like it. Hopefully it's better than Busuu. So here we go.
你被关在一个小房间里，你并不记得发生了什么。
Alright, so just spent the past half an hour or so going through that free available interactive story on, what's it called, WordSwing? Yeah, WordSwing. And yeah, I quite liked it. It's like the design of the website is very simple, let's say, but the actual content there seemed pretty good. Like, it was at a level where there were a lot of unknown words, but not to the point where it was unmanageable. Like, but you can easily click and define words and stuff, so I was able to go through a good chunk of the story. I thought I might try and go through the entire interactive story, but after about half an hour, I was getting a little brain fatigued from the active focus of trying to read and understand and make decisions based on a story that was entirely in Mandarin that's probably like slightly above where I am. If it was like 10% easier, I think I'd have easier of a time going further in it without getting so brain fatigued. But anyway, yeah, after half an hour, I went ahead and stopped where I was. There are certain points in the story where you hit a checkpoint where basically your progress is saved and you can like rejoin the story there. And so at the second checkpoint, I went ahead and stopped because, like I said, I was getting brain fatigued and I got a little bit of a headache. So I'm done with that for now, but I'm very glad to have found a new resource that is good for me. Like I said, only parts of it are free. Like, only, I think you can start a lot of the interactive stories, but you can't complete them all the way. You can only go so far with the free version, but it's honestly not that expensive compared to some other apps. Like, I'm looking at you do Chinese being basically like what, $15-16 a month. That's a bit too high for me to easily fork over every month. But I think this one was like $8 a month, which is a bit more manageable, and so I might pay for it and give it a shot. We'll see. I'm gonna definitely finish this free version first and try to make use of the free available parts before I do fork over any money for it. But yeah, like I said, despite its kind of simple graphics I think it's a pretty decent resource that I look forward to trying more in the future. But yeah, like I said, I kind of have a headache now because of the intense focus I was giving trying to escape the room where I was imprisoned in Chinese. And so I'm going to take a bit of a break. Not a break from Chinese, I'm probably going to go eat a late lunch, and I found a relatively short Chinese drama that I haven't watched. It's like 4 hours total of the entire drama, I think it was like 12 short episodes, so I'm gonna go ahead and watch part of that while I eat, just to kind of detox. A lot more passive. It has subs in both English and in Mandarin, so I can kind of understand much more easily without putting a lot of brain effort in, but also kind of make note of characters that are on the screen as people are talking. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that now, and hopefully my headache goes away soon. All right, so I made lunch earlier and then put on the drama that I found. Didn't intend to watch the entire 4-hour drama in one sitting, but here I am 4 hours later, so should have known I tend to be a binge watcher and don't have good self-control. So yeah, watched the entire thing in one sitting instead of breaking it up into a couple of chunks like I had planned, but yeah. The show started out really, really dumb, but ended up being mildly compelling. Still a bit dumb by the end, but at least less blatantly ridiculous like it was at the beginning. So yeah, I don't think it's a show I'm going to be going back to, but you know, it was obviously interesting enough for me to keep watching it for 4 hours straight. So that's what I'll say about that. But yeah, now that it's evening time, this is typically the rough time window where I do my daily dose of Do Chinese. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. do Chinese. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that, and that's probably where I'm going to end today's studying since it's already 8 o'clock. I had planned to test the other kind of fun Chinese website or app that I had found earlier. I think it's called Mandarin, but I guess I'll have to try that another day because I think that I've had enough active studying for today, especially after I finish the Do Chinese that I'm about to do. So yeah, that's my final plan for this Chinese-filled day, and yeah, let's do it. 圣帕特里克节和绿帽子，这是个快乐的节日。可是在中国，戴绿帽子却意味着你的伴侣欺骗了你。历史沙。Alright, so I'm gonna wrap up my studying day there. I just totaled it up and I ended up studying Chinese today for 5 hours and 35 minutes. 4 hours of that was the drama that I watched with both English and Mandarin subtitles, and then the other 95 minutes was all active study, which for me is an incredible amount of Mandarin active study in a day. Typically, like I said at the beginning of this vlog, I do one little article or chapter on Do Chinese, which takes like 15 to 30 minutes-ish usually. And not only did I study much more than usual, but also I am super happy that I found a new resource to bring with me as I continue studying Mandarin, instead of just doing Do Chinese all the time and that being the only Mandarin exposure I get. I'm excited to try using WordSwing more, possibly even trying out the paid features as well if I continue to like it as much as I do now and want access to that content, so stay tuned there. Also looking forward to trying the other possible good resource that I found, which like I said, I think is Mandarin. It looked promising, but after the 5.5 hours I did today, I was not looking to start a new resource at like 9 o'clock now, so I'll have to try that maybe tomorrow or in the near future. So again, stay tuned for that as well. But yep, that's the end of my Chinese study day. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here, and until next time, 再见.